Now we get to the question of under certain circumstances, which game should you start with? And that could change depending on what the casino visit looks like. But as a general rule, let's say that a person's been losing a lot and they just can't take more losses, which happens to all of us. And so, in that particular case, we have to go with odds, right? What are the best odds in a casino? Well, obviously, it's going to be craps game and blackjack. Okay, all the skills that we work on here. But then you have to decide which one first, because you're just not in a condition to take major losses right now, right? So let's compare it. Okay, let's compare a scenario of what could happen in each game, and then you can decide, based on these scenarios. So let's say you walk over to the craps table. Well, first thing you want to do, if you just want the lowest, betting system and the highest odds, is look for a $5 table. Okay, that makes a huge difference because you can get away with, once you get to a table, there are certain things that you have to have. You have to have a right position in the table. Let's say there's only one table and there's a whole bunch of people and there's just no place, as far as shooting, you don't have see a desirable. Well, then you can't play. That's that simple. You just have to go and sit down at a coffee shop there and just wait, or sit down at someplace nearby the table and wait for someone to leave. Sometimes you may be able to tell the pit boss that you want a position and ask him if you could get on their waiting list. Some casinos may let you do that, and that's a great idea, to be honest with you. So let's say that you do find a decent position on the, as far as a shooting position on the table. Okay, so let's say it's not your turn yet. That's another problem. If there's 6 people before you, now you're gonna have to invest a lot of money, right? So you have to consider that. But you can get away with it. What you can do is there's 6 people, just take the position because you have to, and wait. Don't cash in yet, because if the dealer says, "Do you want to cash?" You say, "Oh, I'll just wait till he finishes his roll." Because a lot of people do that. They don't want to jump in the middle of a roll and mess up somebody's roll. So that's a good excuse to have only 5 people left in front of you. And then when the guy throws a 7, then you can throw your money on the table. And when you get the money, okay, just do the bare minimum. There's no rush. Put $5 down, right? And get some insurance for it in case the guy throws crap or so. And one of the best things you can do is grab your phone and go sit down someplace near the table. You got your wager, so the only time you need to go back to the table, you'll hear something like, "Okay, the person made the point," and they start paying everybody, and you go over there, you collect your wager, and they're busy paying everybody. They're not going to pay attention to you, and then put another 5 and plus some insurance, and go back, sit down again. And now you've already made a wager, okay? So now the person throws a 7, and the next person comes in. Now you only got 4 people ahead of you, right? But that person, leave your chips there and don't bet anything, unless you're getting. I wouldn't just do it until there's a person you're almost next in line or 2 more in line. Because sometimes the person to your right doesn't want to shoot. And if you don't have a wager, they're not going to let you shoot. So now you got to wait a whole round again. So I would say if it's two people before you, you better start waging that. You know, you better start betting that. And so your phone is a big asset because you don't want to invest in people unless you know they're great shooters, man. So how much have you risked so far? $5 on one shooter, another $5, and then maybe another $5, and some insurance and all that. Maybe you won one, you lost one. Who knows? Maybe you won every one of them, right? Maybe they all made a point. And so hopefully you haven't lost anything. But if you did lose, it should be no more than $10-15. Okay, so that's not bad. And now you get to shoot, right? And I would do the same thing because you don't know how. You got to get used to that table, you know. So I would just start with just $5 some insurance, maybe some small bonus wagers like dollar, you know, for the bonus. So that'd be $3 more. So altogether less than $10. That's what I would start with, you know. And hopefully you make a couple of numbers, and then you can start betting more, and you know. So if you throw a 7, okay, immediately, which doesn't happen too often, but it could. Now you've made 2 or 3 wagers, and you can wait until the thing goes around again. And if there's so many 7s, then you know what? Half of the table they're gonna leave because they say, "Oh, this table's cold." They don't want to stick around. So then you don't have to wait too much longer to roll again. So you know that's gonna be your situation with the craps, you know. But if you're rolling really good, you know, then you know you can start just betting on numbers, and you could easily gain about $60-70 even at a $5 table. And who knows, maybe you hit the bonus. Now you got, you know, $60 and another $200. That's $300 just on the bonus. So now you're doing real well. So that's the best scenario, right? And the worst scenario, you still haven't lost that much, you know. By the time it's you know you start shooting, maybe about $40 or $50. Okay, so that's the crap scheme. And blackjack, it depends. You could start with a new shuffle, and you could. It's hard to find a $5 blackjack table, so they're all going to be around $10 to $15. And if the shoe is negative, you could lose most of the time. It's very possible. And you can't really leave the table because now there's only got one blackjack table. And if you leave, then you might not get a seat, you know. So unfortunately, and this is the reason we mentioned here that you should never ever listen to people that say, oh, they started with 2,000 and now they have 50,000. They probably started in the old days when blackjack was a whole different game. It's a different game now, you know. And the rules have changed, and you just, and then especially if you're playing locally, the most you can make is $200-300 per night anyway. I mean, once you make that much money, you want to go home because you don't want to make a big scene, you know, and then come back another week later, you know. So so between the two, those are going to be your scenarios, you know, on average. Your blackjack could be, you could have 2, 3, 4 negative shoes in a row. It's very possible, you know. And personally, you know, when I sit on a table, if it's empty, there's nobody sitting there, and just me and a dealer, I'd rather, to be honest, I'd rather start with a negative shoe than positive. I know you're going, what? Exactly, because the mentality that you're dealing with in these casinos, these are minimum wage people. I'm not trying to stereotype. There are some that want to, you know, they start at minimum wage because they want to get an executive position with their casino. I don't know why anybody would want to do that, you know. But whatever their reasoning is, you know, it's just that the dealer that's at the table, believe it or not, okay, they actually think, or a dream, I don't know what they're thinking. They actually think they're playing with, they're playing blackjack with you. Somehow, they have this insane mentality, this idea. They forget that they're just distributing cards. A monkey could probably do that, They don't have any decision-making power, They can't, But believe it or not, I've run into many dealers who think they are the reason that I'm losing or I'm winning. They have nothing to do with anything, okay? So all they're doing is just distributing cards. That's their job, And they have to hit when the rules say they have to hit. And they can't just say, well, I'm not going to hit, right? But since majority of them have this insane mentality, I sometimes rather start with a negative shoe and lose. Hopefully, they feel like they won. I know this sounds insane, but they actually think they're the reason I lost, And great, let them think that way. So then the next shoe, when I make some money, they're not going to have a fit. Believe it, I know this sounds hard to believe, but that's how they think. What can I tell you? Where the other way around, if I start and bang, 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 I'm winning, they can actually get really irritated, because the way their mentality is, and their supervisor is not any smarter than they are. The supervisor is probably saying, why does he keep winning? they don't understand how blackjack works. They think it's the dealer is doing something wrong, Believe it or not, they think the dealer is the cause that a person is winning, So but there is something they could do if you are a new card counter, okay? What they could do, they could deal faster. That way you lose track of the count, and they can push you. So what they'll do is they'll start dealing really fast, and then you trying to keep up with them, and then if you lose, you're losing count. Not only that, but you make mistakes, you hit, let's say you hit on a 12 when the dealer has 3 and the count's positive or something, so they could force you into mistakes by going faster, But if you're an old timer, none of that's going to make a difference. It could. They could if they're pushy. You know what I mean by pushing is like, they start dealing really fast, and then they're ready to give you another card, and then you're going like, you're thinking, and he's leaning over trying to push the card, and in those situations, I have no problem with fast deals, but I'm not going to sit there. I'm the boss at the table. I'm not going to let someone push me when it comes to decision making. In fact, if the dealer starts doing that, I actually do the opposite. I just move real slow, and let them know, don't push me, because there's a limit to everything, So, but with the new card counter, yeah, if they speed up and they push the card counter into mistakes and bad decisions, yeah, they could cause losses, So that's the situation you might run into. As we're talking about a new person that just finished training and they're gonna get to a casino, and this is the first month or two, and they've won some, they lost some, and they just don't know where to start, on a casino visit. So those are two scenarios that you could run into, and if it's negative, it's possible you could lose, I don't know, anywhere from $60 to $100. And if it's positive, hopefully it's possible. And what I would do is I would you know, however your best way you can think of to arrange your chips so you know how much money without spending too much time counting. Because you're counting cards, you don't you know you don't want to put more pressure on yourself counting chips. Maybe you can figure out a way. Now during training we show you some techniques of how you arrange your chips in front of you so that you don't have to sit there and count as 20, 40, 60, 80, $100, whatever. We have some ways that you could manage your chips, but as far as other games that we work here, video poker is only advisable if there's nothing else that you could do. You're in a casino and the only thing you've decided to do is play the craps table, video poker, and slot machines, and you already know your slot machines and they're busy. People are playing them, so you can't play those, right? And the craps game, maybe you already played it, or it just doesn't look good. There's just too many people there. It's too much hodgepodge going on. So then the only choice you have is video poker, right? And what else are you gonna do? In fact, that's a good idea. I mean, if they take a waiting list, put your name and then, I don't know, maybe you can check with them every once in a while, or just go play video poker. Video poker is not bad because you don't lose that quickly, so it's not going to put that much stress on you. And as far as the card rooms, I would, blackjack is probably, probably slower, as far as losing until you get to a point where you win. Blackjack's probably better in that sense. Where with the Spanish 21 or Baccarat, you have to wait for a certain count. And when you reach that count, when you reach the index, you have to lay out some bonus money. It's like Spanish 21. You got to jump from $2 to $25, $50. And once in a while, this is not a perfect count. And we tell you that in advance. It's something that, again, it's a coin toss. Sometimes it doesn't. The count doesn't work, and you put $50 per side. That's $100 you're betting, and then you don't get a suited match. But it certainly beats putting $100 every hand, right? You're only doing that like twice per shoe, and you're gonna get suited matches in there, and the rest of the shoe you only put $2 up, and the same with Baccarat is pretty decent count, but it's not the same type of count as blackjack. We want to be clear about that. So I would go, if I was in a card room, I would go for the blackjack first, because Spanish 21 is a slower win. Sometimes some shoes you'll play and you'll see nobody gets suited match. It just doesn't, cards the way they're stacked. Nobody gets it. So now you waited all this time and nobody got anything. You wait for the new shoe, and second shoe might be exactly the same. So these is some comparison of what you're going to be facing. Again, please subscribe and like the video. Thank you.